Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. It's finally here. NTE global launch day has arrived, and if you're watching this right now, you're going to be ahead of the entire player base. Today we're breaking down the exact meta teams you can use on day one, from completely free characters you can grab, plus the strongest early teams that will carry you through story, open world, bosses, and right into the mid game without spending a single dime. But not only that, here's the big news we're including here as well for you. As a free-to-play player, you're not getting just one, but two S-class selectors, one after your 50 pulls on the standard banner, which is pretty easy to hit today with all of the free pulls, and another one that should be dropping into your mail by at least May 3rd. That means every player can pick exactly what they want and build a pretty monster roster from hour one. Smash that like button if you're grinding day one right now. Drop your current team in the comments and let's dive in. This is your complete free-to-play roadmap to becoming unstoppable. Let's dominate NTE together. First up, the absolute best free characters you can secure today with no gacha luck needed. These are your day one foundation teams, and they're going to be S tier viable once built. Number one is going to be Zero, your main character. You're going to get this S-class Cosmo Esper automatically the second you start the game. Male or female, your choice. They have the same kits. Zero is an all-rounder beast with an instant Esper cycle filling ability. This means you can trigger reactions way faster than anyone else early on. They're going to be your main DPS starter, solid single target damage, as well as some AoE, and even throws in like a tiny bit of healing from time to time once you get into the game. Invest your early resources here, as well, Zero is going to carry you through pretty much every story boss until you swap in some of your bigger hitters if you decide to do so. Zero is very safe, reliable, and scales very beautifully with the free gear that you're going to pick up. Next, and this one's massive, Chiz is going to be your S-class Cosmo free DPS queen. She's basically guaranteed within your first day or two of playing the game. You're going to meet her during this main story quest, Good Morning Hathuru, which unlocks the City Tycoon system. So grind those Tycoon dailies, hit 18, and boom, you're going to have full Chiz with Awakening copies coming to you even sooner as you level higher. Why is she meta? Well, Chiz's damage is tied to her grain and Fawn's currency system. You're going to be building grain with basics and skills, and then time your ultimate during her grain market peaks for massive multipliers in her damage. It's a high skill ceiling, but once you learn it, she out damages a ton of limited characters actually early on. She's going to be one of the best free DPSs in the entire game right now. So full stop, prioritize your Tycoon progression and pick up Chiz. Then we have Haniel, an A-class psych support / buffer. You're going to get free from pre-registration milestones, so you should check your inbox right now and pick up Haniel. Haniel's going to give attack buffs to the whole team and helps trigger reactions. She's not flashy, but she's going to make every other character in your party hit harder and survive longer. She's a safe pickup, low investment character that's going to bring some high value to your team compositions. Adler, they're going to be your A-class incantation shielder, unlocked through early story quests. This guy's going to be your survivability king, shields DLT damage, and has great synergy with incantation reactions. Early game, you're going to take some hits. Adler's going to keep you alive while you learn the combat flow, and also support your team through his great incantation synergy. Mint's going to be your A-class anima DPS, also gained from story progression. She's your early sub DPS or flex unit until your Chiz is fully online. She's going to enable you to do some solid blossom reaction damage, as she's a pretty solid reaction enabler and pretty easy to build. Also, don't sleep on Aurelia, who is a free A-class support from the 3-day login rewards. She's going to bring AoE damage and Nova reaction value, perfect for clearing mobs fast. These are going to be your free access characters you're going to be able to build your teams around. And now let's get into some of the big ones, which is going to be your S-class selector characters. After 50 pulls on the standard banner, the first ones are discounted, so it's really closer to 40 pulls with those freebies that you get from logging in. You're going to be able to choose any standard S-class character that you want. Sakiri, Daffodil, Baikang, Jiuyuan, Fadia, Hathor, whatever it is, you're going to have access to it. And remember, you're going to be getting a second selector in the mail by at least 3rd of May, but probably April 30th. That's going to be 2 picks of your choice, completely free for S-class characters. Now, some of the best day one picks, in my opinion, you're going to have access to Sakiri, which is going to be one of the safest all-rounders, team-wide attack buffs, some enemy grouping, and has insane synergy with almost any character in NTE. Daffodil is going to be there if you want raw DPS carry power in the Chaos Break, in the Chaos Reaction. She's the only Chaos character we have access to right now, so she's very helpful if you want to build a Chaos Synergy team. And the last but not least is Jiuyan, who's going to be there for some nice burst damage support, easy clears, and also possibly some support healing synergy in the future. So pick based on your playstyle, we'll build teams around them next. Either way, these are going to turn your free rosters into monster rosters. Now let's put them all together and start with your day one meta teams so you can be out there clearing content the fastest right now. I'm going to be breaking down 4 strong options. No matter who you pick for your first selector, you'll be covered if you're picking some of those top tier characters we just talked about. So the first team is going to be your pure free-to-play starter team. This is going to be able to be used basically from hour 1 before you even gain access to your selector. Your main DPS is going to be 0. Your sub DPS / flex is going to be mint. Once you unlock Chiz, you can swap mint out for Chiz ASAP. Your support shielder is going to be Adler, and your buffer is going to be Haniel. This team's pretty brain dead easy and just going to destroy the story, exploration, early bosses. 0 is going to fill that Esper cycle, so you're constantly triggered reactions like Cosmos, Blossom, Charge, etc. Adler is going to keep everyone shielded. Haniel will buff your damage, and then either Mint or Chiz is going to pump out some extra numbers for you. Some rotation tips for this easy access team. You're going to start with 0 with basics to build some meters, swap to Adler for your shields and damage over time effects, Haniel for attack buffs, and then swap back to your DPS for big reaction bursts. It's pretty forgiving, it's fast, and it scales all the way up until your selectors come online. So let's talk about some of those selector teams that we're going to be upgrading our free-to-play meta teams to. If you choose a Sakiri, here's your Sakiri Selector team. Your main DPS will be 0 or Chiz as soon as you gain access to Chiz. Your sub DPS is still going to be mint. Your support buffer in this instance is still going to be Sakiri, and your shielder / healer is either going to be Adler or Haniel, depending on which of those support categories you need and want in this team. This is where you're going to start dominating. Sakiri is going to group those enemies up, give that massive team-wide buffs to your attack, so everything's going to be hitting like a truck. Chiz is going to become your grain monster eater. She's going to be doing all of the damage for you. If you're still using 0, you can still get in there with 0 for instant cycles, and those supports are going to keep you alive and support your team. This team clears open world events, first ghost train runs, feels premium even on day 1, and it's perfect if you want some easy, consistent power. For an aggressive DPS-focused carry team and you're picking Daphadille Selector, this will be your Daffodil team. You're going to have Daffodil as your main DPS selector pick of choice in conjunction with either 0 or as soon as you unlock them once again, Chiz. Your support's going to be Haniel and your shielder is going to be Adler. Daffodil is going to bring some insane single target break as well as chaos reactions that will help you melt bosses. Pair her with Chiz for dual DPS pressure and you're going to be clearing content faster than in your average player once you get this team down. You're going to have Adler in this team to help you tank with those shields, while Daffodil and Chiz are doing the heavy lifting for you. This is going to be great for players who love big damage numbers in rushing those bosses down. Next up, we have the Burst Clear team. If you were a Jiuyan Selector, this is going to enable some fast AoE and story speedrunning. You're going to have that wombo combo of your Chiz main DPS, sub DPS of Jiuyan from this selector choice. Your support's going to be Haniel for a while, and your shielder is definitely going to be Adler once again. Jiuyuan's burst damage and reactions make this team fast and friendly for farming as well as story progression. It's explosive, it's going to clear those waves instantly, and it's very free-to-play friendly. If you want to speed blitz through day 1 and 3 content, this is going to be one of your best pickups, as it really is just going to help you do those AoE clears inside of the story. This is going to be a pro tip for all of your teams, and as you're working on maybe your second selector in the future, a lot of the combat around NTE is based on that Esper cycle reaction damage. As you've seen in some of the setups we had here, we made sure to have the correct elements so we can make use of Esper cycles. So focus on Esper cycles, as that's the core of NTE combat. Cosmos plus Incantation plus Psych triggers Nova, Discord, etc. Always try to have at least 3 different elements in your party for max reaction value. You don't want to really go over 3, you just want to focus on having 3 so you can gain access to the triple reactions. Farm the free artifacts and weapons from the story and world bosses. They're actually pretty strong on these units as well. Don't spread your resources thin. Pick one main DPS we talked about, whether it's Zero or Chiz or whatever your selector is. Pump everything into them, then support the rest of your characters. You can even outpace paid players who are pulling on random stuff and throwing random stuff in their teams together. And remember, your second selector drops on May 3rd, so you can grab a missing piece or get even stronger. Are you missing Sakiri from your team? Pick that up with that second selector. Are you missing Jiuyuan from that team, so you want to replace someone like Haniel? Pick that character up as well. Use that powerful second selector to make this first team the strongest team possible before you try to, well, build up a secondary team. A couple extra day one pro moves. Make sure to do those tycoon dailies so you gain access to Chiz. As you saw, she shows up a ton in these free-to-play meta teams early on. Claim every single pre-registration reward and login bonus immediately. And don't forget, there's over 470 free pulls just from playing in this first patch. So hit that 50 pull selector as fast as possible. Don't waste it. Make sure you're picking someone who works well in the teams that we're synergizing and talking about here today. And only really reroll if you want Nanali on the first limited banner. Otherwise, between the 50 free selector pull as well as the secondary one we're getting, you can already make a crazy team. So there you have it, your complete day one meta blueprint for Neverness to Everness, complete with 4 killer teams in both of your free selectors used, well, intelligently. So follow this and you'll be the strongest free-to-play player on your server, I promise, by the end of the week. If this helps you, hit like, subscribe, turn on those notifications, and check the pinned comments for a full NTE playlist. We're dropping beginner guides, pull strategies, as well as some of the day one live updates that we've talked about already for the rest of the week. Drop your team down below. Which selector did you grab? Did you get Sakiri, Daffodil, Jiuyan? Let me know. I'll reply as many of them as I can. Thanks for watching. Grind safe out there. God bless. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.